We're live.
Oh, you are live.
We
Okay.
are live.
Halas, I'm not seeing anything. That's crazy that I'm not seeing anything. Good morning. We're going to start this all over again. Hi, I'm Malcolm Nance. Welcome to your host, Black Man Spy, day 30/165 of now. I have changed the name of today's show from the Warcast to the Taco Cartcast because we are going to be talking about all things NATO summit, jumping into a taco cart, food cart, and running away. We've already gone through all the preliminaries. We actually have some intelligence we want to impart to you this morning. If you've missed the first part of this show, we will not be rebroadcasting that. We had a lot of Wi-Fi issues and broadband issues. I am literally connected straight to mainlining fiber optic right now at 900 megabytes per second, and it's still blurry in some instances, so it might be my provider, but I have no earthly idea. And next time I'll just go to my internet cafe and have a double espresso and it'll be better. Who knows? I do live rurally, by the way, for those of you who are wondering. I do not live in a city. I live rural. So with that being said, one of our favorite phrases in the show, Jacob Carsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire, who has to leave in 30 minutes. Wajeeh the Gay Lion, who will be with us for the remaining part of the hour, answering the questions. There is a thread up on Substack chat for you to post your questions. It's under Don Snorleone cast, because that was the original theme of today's cast. But now this one is the taco cart cast, because Trump always chickens out. And in this point, we've learned he has chickened out in a food cart. So we got cut off. We were talking about today's significant activity. First, Strait of Hormuz. No significant activity in the Strait of Hormuz. We are getting no indications whatsoever that the deal is done and is ready to be done. The Omanis and Qataris are all very optimistic about it. The Iranians have not come back with an agreement. And of course, that has to, beside the fact that it is an Omani-Iranian agreement, it would have to go to Donald Trump, who will have something to say about it because they want the naval blockade lifted. So that's it. That's the Persian Gulf. No attacks. I mean, the U.S. Navy did disable a ship yesterday, but we talked about that yesterday. A blockade runner. There is a rumor that there are 25 vessels massing to attempt a blockade storming to go back to the Persian Gulf. We'll report about that when we get more information. Other than that, the big action is in the Red Sea. And once again, Jacob Carsbo has his map of Libya out. And
I'm
the Red
quickly
Sea
going back
is
to
okay. There
the
you
Red
go. Yeah,
Sea.
baby. Yeah, baby. Going back to the Red Sea, the Bab el-Mandab waterway, the port of Mocha, or Mocha, as we all know it, where delicious coffee comes from, has been struck multiple times by the Houthis last night, and they hit and sank or set fire to a Egyptian-owned tanker called the Tihama, which was in port in Mocha. It was set on fire. It killed 3 sailors. We talked about this yesterday briefly. 2 Pakistanis, 1 Indonesian sailor who was on board there. So the port of Mocha is the Houthis are saying this is where government forces are massing for a assault all the way up the single highway that goes along the coast up to the port of Hodeidah from Mocha up there into Houthi-landia. And they are attacking that port because they believe it's being resupplied and that it is a concentration of government forces. They hit it with drones and ballistic missiles. So that's
The
something to learn about. Yes, watch.
the Saudis opened a can of worm. They have no ability of closing. Neither the first time they had their war with the Houthis, and now that they have broken their ceasefire, that's a 4-year-old ceasefire that the Saudis have begged to create because they couldn't abstain the war with the Houthis. The Houthis have already been sending their soldiers to the front line. They have shown capabilities of owning the escalation ladder when it comes to controlling Bab and Mandab, very similar to Iran's ability of controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Not the same, similar. The Bab al Mandab waterway is the most one of the most contested waterways in the planet. You have Somaliland, you have Rita, you have Sana'a, you have pirates, you have other factions who are interested in this. And as soon as the Saudis have attacked Al Houthi, the Houthis were like, "We thought we showed you our capabilities. Let me remind you again once more what we are capable of doing. This is
Mhm.
not the full scale yet. People are expecting this as, oh my God, this is the end of it. No, Al Houthis have not absolutely shut down Bab al Mandab. They're still allowing ships to pass through. The 12% of the whole global economy, not oil, all of types of global economy pass through Bab al Mandab and passes through the Suez Canal. This is not fun. This is not funny. This is people's lives on the line. And the fact is, the Saudis need to get back on the table with the Houthis, but they are going to want to save face for a while before they do that. So I think they're going to be another few months of attacks between the Saudis and the Houthis until they come to sit down.
Wallahi. Well, that's all we need is for this to burn into a full scale blitz. But the Houthis have already made it clear Saudi ships are not welcome. And these merchant tankers that were coming from Western Saudi Arabia, the port of Yanbu, picking up oil that were coming south, have all now diverted up to the Suez Canal. And they're offloading half of their load into the Suez Med pipeline and then going up the Suez Canal half loaded, coming out near Alexandria and picking up their load again, then going all the way around Africa. That is utterly amazing. That is a
That
disruption that
changes
adds
the
28
trip
to
from 12 days to almost 45 days, from 19
Jesus.
days to 45 days.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
that's where the fighting is going on. And, now off Yemen, and we've seen this blitz that's been happening by the Yemenis armed forces, which apparently is U.S. and Saudi backed. And they hadn't been active for years. Years. The Yemeni Air Force, as we talked about last week, flying airstrikes. When did you guys get your planes back? Right? Apparently, somebody's been helping them out in the attack on Jazan in Saudi Arabia, the Jubail oil refinery, of which I've not seen any further information about the attack on Jubail oil refinery on the east coast of Saudi Arabia. Saudis must be keeping a tight lid on it. But this has really set them off. That's Jazan. Okay, that being said, our great transitional phrase that we use in here, let's talk about the top two. But Jacob Carspo has information we discussed about Libya. If you were here yesterday, we have a new segment that we call it Anomalies. And, or anomalous, we've got to come up with a better name for that, like anomalous spectacular penetrations or something.
Yeah.
And anomalous penetrations, which could be anal penetrations. I don't know. But I'm just saying that there was an attack on a Libyan oil field, not oil field, a small refinery in Zuitina, which is just south of Benghazi. I'd say about 25 kilometers
Where I'm
south of
pointing
Benghazi.
now.
Yeah, right there. Just north of Ajdabiya. I spent a lot of time down there.
Astabia is right here.
Yeah. And that place was struck apparently by drones. And we cannot figure out who did it, why they did it, and why they would set fire to that refinery, other than to place a stressor on the already strained global oil pipeline network, because Libya this month just got back into the world market, providing oil out through Mersa Brega, Ras Lanuf, Sirte,
Hmm.
and Mersa Matruh. And then suddenly somebody throws drones to blow up this place in Zuitina. Jacob, what do you have that's new?
What happened yesterday was
Mm.
also the fact that Khalifa Haftar's chief of intelligence was assassinated in Benghazi.
Ho ho ho. Oh.
The first major assassination
What's his
for a long
name?
time.
Khalifa Haftar.
No. Khalifa Haftar is the general.
Yeah.
What's his chief?
I thought you were just saying he got assassinated.
No.
No,
That would be big
his
news.
chief
That would be the top of our show.
intelligence.
Okay, no.
Yeah, Al Mudir al Mukhabarat.
I can't remember what his name is.
I know
But-
his name. His
Okay.
name is Abu Infajar.
Anyway,
That's father of the explosion.
anyway, that was more fireworks.
Oh, God.
Because
What happened?
Libya's largest oil refinery, and I didn't know that previously, is actually all the way over
All
here.
the way on the western Algeria, on the the Tunisian border.
Tunisian border in Zawiya. In Zawiya. And that was also struck.
What?
It doesn't seem by drones, though. It seems that there were, different factions fighting in the area.
Near Zawiya.
Or at least that was, at the same time.
There's
And
factions.
I will say.
Who's in control of that facility? Do you know?
The Western government, the transitional.
But it's actually factions that have supported
Khalifa Haftar.
the government.
Oh, and interfactional fighting?
Yeah.
I know that area just south of Tripoli, right? Or, as we used to call it, Tripolitanius. Tripoli there had some mountains and hills, and they are hillbillies up there, right? And they're just south and southwest of Tripoli towards the Tunisian border. Just FYI, full disclosure, right there across from Zawiya, if you cross that border, and I've been through that border crossing, and you turn left and you go south about 20 kilometers, you will hit the town of Tatooine, which is where Star Wars filmed the planet of Tatooine. 2 sons. Apparently, they got 2 sons now because they blew up an oil refinery and they got a son. But that's a true thing. That's where Star Wars was filmed down there. You can go to the set of Tatooine.
Anyway, Tunisia is right here. A small country, and then you have Suez up here. But one of the interesting things that our audience should know, that all these loyalties, etc., in Libya are incredibly fluid, and groups changes and they change names, and it's a bit like Monty Python, Life of Brian.
That's right. The Popular Front for the Liberation of Judea, the Judea People's Liberation Front.
Exactly. So I can't even remember what these groups are called. But it was factional infighting up here. So, a lot of stuff going on in Libya. And I will say I'm not ready to make like a full,
Let me do some of my research, because I think this is a special paid subscribers program. We need to discuss, because I do know about Libya. I've traveled all the way across there. But you do have these. They're not factions. Factions the wrong word, right? They're families and tribes.
Clans.
Right. And over here you'll have the, Abu Jahl tribe, which is the father of being ignorant. And then the other side will be Abu Ghanam, right? The goat, father of the goats. And then you'll have, the Abu Asliha clan, right? Right? Abu Kalb, father of the dogs, father of the rifles. This is the way it is. And ever since Gaddafi broke up or took his foot, was taken off of this country. This is why you can't even turn left at Sirte and head towards Sabha unless you have been cleared by the tribes of southwestern Libya, because they own the place now. Libya is a factional, sort of a feudal lord state. And even though Western
it's
Libya...
worse than Iraq after the fall of Muammar Gaddafi. You have to understand, after the fall of Saddam Hussein, when you have someone like Muammar al-Gaddafi, who has spent decades funding factions and divisions between tribes and ethnic groups, it's very normal that after they fall, you see exactly this type of
Yeah.
conflict where it is going to go back to the roots of the issue that was being funded by the previous dictator.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, I can tell you personally about Iraq because I was there when Iraq fell. It broke into four components that we knew, except for H. Paul Bremer and his senior staff. They didn't care about it. Sunni Muslims to the west, Shia Muslims central and south, Kurds to the north, right? And then a little group of Yazidis up to the top. And that was it. Saddam only had to have four major groups. One group, the Sunnis, put the foot down, and then you had the foreign terrorists come in and join up with the Sunni Muslims out in Western Iraq, right? What we called the Great Sunni Uprising. So
Yeah.
the Anbar tribes out there did that. Libya ain't like that. I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you about Libya. Tobrukis. Okay, starting from the east, people from Tobruk, right? People from Derna. Derna up there where you see Baida in the north, them motherfuckers, that was Abu Jihad country. That is where
Exactly.
all of their ISIS, Al Qaeda fighters came from Derna, right? We
Yeah.
used to call them the Derna jihadis. And
The
when I got
Libyan
to
Islamic Fighting Group.
Yep. Yeah, God. The Islamic Fighting Group. When I got to Benghazi, I had Benghazi, what they jokingly call themselves Benghazitanians. They said, listen, don't drive up to Gurndurna alone. If you have to go to Tobruk, you go to Ajdabiya and you go straight across. And I was like, no, I want to drive the coastal road. And they were like, this is not a good idea. So I did not. And, I've been through the entire Jebel Akhdar, but Derna was hot. Hot, hot, hot. So you have all these little factional areas that Gaddafi put his foot down on and held for decades, right? 50 plus
Yeah.
years. And when we got rid of Gaddafi, the foot came off and the country is fragmented into very, very different places. And now the fighting, when I was there in Ajdabiya, our big thing was, they were constantly asking me, how can we take Mersa Brega? How can we take Ras Lanuf? And I came up with a great ass plan. And like all Libyans, they wouldn't listen to me because
Yeah.
Gaddafi actually had made them, get this is not a joke, afraid of the desert. They would not go into the desert. And I'm like, what kind of, where are you guys from? You're Arab, they're North African Arabs. They were like, no, very dangerous in the deserts. And it's like, yeah, he made it clear. You go in the desert, you're a conspirator, we'll kill you.
Yeah.
And even with Gaddafi gone, they were like, oh no, there's genies out there. I'm like, no, there's oil field roads out there. The pipelines are out there. We kept saying, just follow the pipelines. There's lights on them. No, Mr. Malcolm, it's very bad. So, but there are people, of course, who go down the main highway, Sirte, Seba, all the way down there. So Libya
Sapa.
there's Seba down there, and there ain't jack shit south of that. Let me tell you, that is a very, very interesting world. We
And
talked
what
about how,
happens when you have situations like this? You have human trafficking, you have open
oh
market slavery, you
my
have
God.
all the types of crazy crimes that you don't want the West to see, and you don't want the West to get it smuggled into. This is the perfect environment for these terrorist organizations and criminal uh, clandestine work to take place for these terrorist groups.
And
One
guess
day,
what they did? Wajeeh? They did exactly that. They
human
actually
trafficking.
followed the jihadi highway here on the
Mhm.
Niger-Algeria border all the way to northern Mali. And that is
Well,
when Mali started to erupt. That was due to the traffic here. It was
well,
jihadists. It was
I
weapon systems, etc.,
let me
etc.,
make a small
all
correction
along.
there. That is not that may be the way the jihadis move, but I haven't been
They
down
did.
that far. I know, but I've been in the northern Chad, but the entire Sahel and deep Sahara is
Mm.
transited by dozens and dozens of cargo trucks every day, bringing thousands and thousands of people on these or not buses. They are 18 wheel man trucks with ginormous cargo beds that they stuff full of everything that they're bringing north. And then all the human trafficking people who pay them jump up on top. It's like a train in India, right? And they all sit on top. And these trucks will transit well traversed packed roads in the middle of the Sahara Desert from point to point. And that's how the jihadis move too. They just jumped on the jingly bus, as we call them. And it would go all the way up there. And the first time I saw not human traffickers, but where I saw the leading edge of the migrant wave back in 2011 is like somebody had put the call out down in Sudan and Mali and Chad and said, get to Benghazi. It's a port and it can get you on a boat that will take you to Crete or to Cyprus or to Malta or some places like that. And I remember one day coming into the port of Benghazi. I was going around, and there were two old Libyan submarines that had caused me a lot of fucking consternation in the 1980s. And they had been abandoned, and I got permission to go on these Foxtrot-class submarines, which were shit-ass, I swear to God. The most dangerous thing I did was step on its deck. Okay. From that point on, just pure, my weight would have sunk the submarine inside. So I get there, but there were hundreds of Sudanese, Malians, Chadians, everyone who had just come up from Kufra to Jalu to Agdabia up to Benghazi, as we jokingly call it. And they were like, hey, yo, where's the boats? Like, what boats? And they're like, boats to Turkey, boats to Chad, to Greece,
to Italy.
And you can be damn sure somebody heard this and was like, yo, y'all, let's get some boats down here.
Yeah.
All right. And then the great boat migration over that year started, and tens of thousands of people drowned in the Mediterranean from these boat smugglers.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, when I was in Abu Dhabi during this time, I ran into a group called Blackwater, and my buddy Eric Prince also lived in Abu Dhabi. And every once in a while, I'd be running on the Corniche, and he knew who I was, right? And I'd see him, and I'd go, team guy. SEALs don't call themselves SEALs; they call themselves team guys. And I was like, yo, team guy. And he was like, hey, you said you're a chief, right? We just spoke one time. I was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, boop, boop, boop. You're a spook. I'm a head of Blackwater. But what was he doing? He was setting up the security company in China from Abu Dhabi. He was also changing all the guards in Abu Dhabi from, I'm not joking, get this, Nepalese Gurkhas to Colombian army commandos. So all of the palaces in the United Arab Emirates are guarded by Catholics from Colombia. Not joking. He got that
and
contract.
He switched from Peru. In Baghdad, they were all Peruvians.
Oh, is that right? Of course they were. I saw a lot more Ugandans in Baghdad
These
than
Gulf
anything else.
states are really dependent on Blackwater, especially when they want to protect themselves from their own people.
They loved Eric Prince personally. They loved him individually. They would all gush about him to me, and I'm like, I wouldn't do business with that guy. And they were like, great. But then I saw this proposal. I was brought in on a news organization that asked me about Blackwater went to the transitional government of Libya and offered to stop human trafficking if NATO countries would pay half, like Italy, and they were going to bring in these sky tractor, crop duster like planes and hundreds of armed white men from the US. And half the country said no and took PMC Wagner, the Russian mercenaries, right? That was the Egyptian United Arab Emirates side. The other side was being backed by the government of Turkey, these guys would bring in roll-on, roll-off ships with hundreds of armored personnel carriers. So the country is technically split into four parts. The Northwest, which is Khalifa Haftar's country. The the Northeast, Khalifa Haftar. Southeast, tribes. Southwest, tribes. Northwest, transition or the recognized government of Libya.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But man, every person that wanted to get to Europe, and they were being sold this for $100 or $1,000. We will have a boat waiting for you in Benghazi. It will take you to
Or
Crete
Misrata.
or Misrata. Oh, Misrata, definitely. What's the
Masrata.
name of that? There's a whole bunch of small ports between Misrata, Tripoli, and Zawiya
Sirt.
out in there. Sirte, not so much because Sirte's really far in the south, and it was pretty much the
No,
access
Sirt
way
is
to.
here.
Yeah. I meant south, that part right there of the Strait of the Gulf of,
Yeah.
the Gulf
Gulf of
of
Sirt.
Sirte, and
Yep.
it's just harder to get boats out of there. And it was really contested between the two sides. Sirte is sort of a dividing line. And that's where they killed Gaddafi, by the way.
And it was also taken over by the Islamic State at one point.
Was it? Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Anywho's, Libya is a fascinating anomaly that we're talking about here. We're giving all of this time to it because nothing else is going on in the rest of the world. But now you're telling me that a second refinery may have gotten damaged in fighting. People are now, do you know what that indicates to me? The oil industry has been told your oil is worth whatever 10 times whatever it's costing on the futures market.
Yeah.
And people are now fighting for control of these facilities.
That's
and
probably.
damaging others. So we'll see what goes on with Libya, but we need to do a show with charts. I'll bring out my photos from my time in Libya, and it will be an interesting program. All right, you guys, well, let's go to questions. I know we ruined 30 minutes of the people's show today. So I will start answering some questions and Jacob can leave. Get out of here, Jacob. I know you got to go talk to have lunch with the Queen or something.
I have to put on a tuxedo, but it's not
Do
the
you
Queen.
really?
I have. If you want to see me in tuxedo, it's in.
How come you never invite us to these cool events?
That's right.
I ever noticed that?
I don't like wearing a tuxedo. I've just been invited to an event, so I'm like, oh, couldn't be bothered. But I'll do it.
Okay, but before you go,
a very rich guy that invited me, but he's rich, but he's a very cool guy.
Okay, before you go, this
is very laid back.
We're going to talk about Trump's taco out of the NATO summit here, but somebody posted this in the Substack chat, and the subtitle is, "Sir, we're only serving chicken today." So that's the kind of mimetic warfare that the White House is having to put up there.
We only have the vegetarian menu left.
Seems Malcolm needs to contact a certified camel link technician. Okay, let's move on. Camel link
see you
is
tomorrow.
sundowning. All right, Jacob, we'll see you tomorrow. Wajeeh and I will answer questions to make up for our show. Bye.
Bye.
Bring a tuxedo photo.
I will.
Take pictures of the food.
Okay. So somebody said Don Daniels says he is doing the FAFO. That's a super PAC that I'm associated with, which is forward objectives, and where we encourage people to take over highway overpasses. And he said, my sign for the overpass is so many crimes, not enough cardboard. That's a good one. You didn't like that one, Waj? So many crimes.
I don't necessarily get it.
You go to an overpass, where overpass where cars drive over. They have a chain link fence on them, right? We're encouraging people to go up there and put messages against the regime.
Okay.
Right? Like my favorite one that I saw was OMG, GOP, WTF.
Oh, did you?
Oh my God, Republicans, what the fuck? And that was in Minneapolis, right?
Minneapolis
So,
has got really good signs.
yeah, it does. Somebody said they're going cold turkey. It really hits hard when the thing stopped. Don Daniels asks, has anyone seen the movie Enemy of the State? Yes. Enemy of the State is a fine movie. Set aside the premise that someone's going to get in trouble for killing a senator. Everything in that movie is technically accurate. Now, I want you to imagine that now with drones and satellites, all that stuff. Man, Enemy of the State's a good film. And the character Gene Hackman plays, I've met that guy at NSA. That got serious. I was like, damn, I know that dude that they based him off of. There are some real, we called them techs, right? The real experts. These guys that can hack you, that can wiretap your phone, put in bugs, techs. And those techs are fucking badass, man. That guy is, I was like, as soon as I watched that movie, I was like, do they know you're doing this? Do they know you got this guy in the movies? Because that was a good movie. So we have been treated to the finest coffee in Toronto by Nancy Byman. Ooh.
Hmm.
If you will meet up near St. Lawrence Market, any other Malcolm subscribers from Toronto are also welcome. Look at that.
Wow.
Okay. Now, Major General Michael Harrison says Major General Fazi al Mansouri, head of military intelligence for the Eastern based Libyan National Army, that's Khalifa Haftar's army, was assassinated in Benghazi. He was killed after an IED explosive device planted in his car detonated as he was leaving a local mosque in the Al Hawari district. Oh, wow, that's an Al Jazeera
Wow.
is reporting that. Question for the chief. Interesting report. This is Shane Granger about the 8-month deployment of the USS Abraham Lincoln. 5,000 people have been embarked since are climbing the walls, food, toilet, laundry issues, open end date, terrible morale. Any comment? Yes. Long ass deployments, 240 days without seeing land. Okay. Launching aircraft, recovering
300.
aircraft, 240 days.
Really?
See. Yep. They really, and don't forget that Gerald Ford was 1 year. 1 year. And you saw what happened, right? Mysterious fires start breaking out, toilets getting clogged up. So the Abraham Lincoln is due to go home. But guess what? We have seen no discussion of a designated replacement of that ship. So, yes, they are climbing the walls. They are going crazy. Ba, 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 ba. Ido Amin says, hey, Abu, Yawaji, Isma.
Yes.
Ido Amin from the Holy War desk.
Holy War desk.
I love that. That's good. The
The
fear of
whole
desert. It says fear of desert genies is not Gaddafi's work. It is ancient protection against desert genies is assumed to be the motivation behind the Egyptian circumcision ceremonies. Okay. Exported by Israelites to Canaan and documented in the Bible. All right. Been in the desert someday after my memoir comes out. It is not in my memoir. I have a story because my first memoir is called Thinker, Sailor, Black Man, Spy. You can pre-order it on Amazon, coming out next February. But my next book is going to be a book of funny, true spy stories. And the name of that book, I have had the name of this book for 15 years. The name of that book is going to be Bin Laden Gave Me Diabetes.
Oh my God.
And here's the kicker. It's true. It's true. Bin Laden gave me diabetes.
Not that.
And it's going to be Bin Laden gave me diabetes and other true stories from the black spy world. And it is funny. When I went through my memoir, I was asked to remove 50,000 words. I wrote 177,000 words. That's me just telling stories after stories, all of which documented photographs in there. By the way, have I ever showed you my photograph of me in Libya?
No.
I have a bunch of them, but here's one that I think you'll appreciate because of my head wrap. I got my Libyan going.
For some reason, I
And
can't see you because you're frozen at the moment, but that might be
but
just.
check and see if anyone else says. I can't see the chat.
Is anyone? You're back for me now. You're back
Okay,
now.
hello. Okay. So when I was down in
Can you show me
Benghazi,
that picture?
I will show it to you now. When I was down in Benghazi, I was hanging out with the brothers, and they did me a Libyan do rag.
Oh shit! Okay,
And I got the full rap going there. Here,
that's
here's a
the
close up.
jihadi, the jihadi rap, huh?
No, no, the American flag is away. But no, that's not a jihadi rap. That's a Benghazitanian rap, right?
Because it wasn't clear, it was still blurry, but I could tell it's a rap.
Okay, hold on. Let me show it to you again. But no, that is the Benghazi. That is Benghazi's specific way they wrap their head. And it looks, if you look at it, it's like the Emiratis, only less
That's
bulk.
what it. That's what I was about to say. It looks almost
Okay,
like the
no,
Emirati.
can you see now?
Now it's frozen. No, yes, yes, I can see it.
Okay.
It is.
So
It is blurry, but yeah, I can
my
see it.
my Benghazi rap. I have no idea what's going on with this. I'm literally connected straight to the mainlining fiber optic. So but while I was down there in Libya, I had a bunch of stories. So I had to remove 50,000 words from the memoir, and I was asked to remove some of the funniest stories that I had. And so I removed them, and I told him, I go, I've always wanted to do a second book called Bin Laden Gave Me Diabetes and other funny stories from the black spot world. And, like the stupid shit that happened on ships or submarines or airports or hotel bars, things like this. And that story is going in there. Okay. That's there. And then there's the one I don't even want to describe it, the one with the genie. I have upfront personal close genie activity in my career. And let me tell you, my guys in Iraq, boy, they took genies seriously.
Oh yeah.
Seriously. Oh my God. They were
There's
crying and
rules and laws in Sharia Islam that tells you exactly how you are supposed to be respectful and treat jinn. Jinn is
genie
the jinn is the plural for genies.
for genies, right? The jinn. Um, I actually am going to write this whole section. That's going to be one of the funniest stories there because of this incident, I had to, not joking, I had to create a genie management protocol.
What?
It's too stupid to give out right here. It is so hilarious, because we had radio network and we had alerts for everything. I had to create a genie alert, Jin, right? And Zara Jin, and a genie warning. Was dumb. But it's true. And you are all learning something. And if you want to learn about the jinn, you have to read what book, Wajeeh? Not the Quran, not the Hadith. What book do I always recommend that talks about the genies in its most accurate form? Halismani, can you hear me? Okay. It's 1001 Arabian Nights. You have to read the Arabian Nights, the original unexpurgated version of Sir Richard Burton. So that will teach you everything you need to know about jinn.
I just
Jinn can
received a
sleep
phone
with.
call and they lost you.
Ah, okay, that's fine. You're not missing anything. Genies will sleep with your wife. They're almost invariably either Azrakini, right? Which is so black they come out blue, which is where you
Mm.
get the whole thing of the blue genie from. They're not actually blue. They're gunmetal black, which is another way of saying South Sudanese. So, you know, these stories at the time where people walked everywhere, right? They wouldn't see someone as black as Wajeeh's beard, so black that it reflects blue like gunmetal. So that's why in 1001 Arabian Nights, genies come in two flavors. They banging your wife, or they
Oh
are
my God.
they are benevolent and trying to help you. But they're mischievous. Genies are very mischievous. And and they can live with humans. They can live with humans. They live as humans, and sometimes.
They prefer to live in deserts away from humans. They in Islam they believe that jinn eats bones, so desecrating any type of
Yeah,
bone, whether it's human or animal, is considered against Sharia law.
you
Another
start.
reason why desecrating graves is not okay in Islam. Um, there is a lot of rules when it comes to respecting
Yeah.
jinn and the Islamic belief, and
Okay.
the fear is based off religiously at this point. It's not just cultural.
Yeah, that's very true. Terry K. Wonder asks, could the Egyptian and Libyan attacks be related and be the beginning of a movement that is testing how hardened the targets are in North Africa and MENA nations? No, I think it's somebody that's out to disrupt the energy market. It's just too coincidental. And now we have fighting up near Zawiya up in northwest Libya at their biggest oil refinery. Next thing, it's just too pat. It's like that refinery in Australia blowing up after oil went to $120 a barrel. All right. Somebody's trying to starve the market out of oil. Arsonists do that stuff. Somebody says, last comment, Don Daniels, because I have to go do another radio show. He always thought the enemy, no, Al says, I always thought the character from the movie Enemy of the State was based on Harry Call from The Conversation. Yes. Harry Call gets hired by NSA, goes, retires after 30 years, and then becomes the character in The Conversation, in Enemy of the State. He really is, as a great character. Okay, and finally, yes, Wajeeh, you had a question?
No, no, go for it. I
No,
had
no,
something.
I'm signing off.
Oh, okay.
Wajeeh, do you have something you'd like to tell all of us?
Yes, I would love to get you my producer guru to come help you set up your equipment and make it
Well,
pristine for you. And make sure that he gives you the cheapest prices because he's my friend. But no,
uh,
for real, he could definitely help you set up the network
well,
and the
I am I
software.
am in I am in rural upstate New York, so flying someone out from Minneapolis is not in the budget. We'll have to see what I can do here. But I think what I need to do is contact my provider and get the fiber optic router hooked up to another fiber optic router that is in my space upstairs. But the numbers that coming in are off the charts. They peg the Ookla speed test all the way to the right, 900 megabytes per second. The question is, am I using the right transmission cables? Ethernet cable, or should I run the fiber optic straight up there? We will see. But I hope that you guys will still stick around. We do have, look, we've been at this 165 days. We've had
That's right.
maybe 3 days where technical activities shut the show down. And I'm glad it happened on a slow news day, but you guys learned something about Libya, you learned something about Yemen, and you learned a shitload about genies, more than you ever thought that you were going to learn. And if the Libyan stuff keeps up, we are definitely going to have to be talking about what we're going to do post in the Libyan world. So thank you for coming to this episode of Black Man Spy. If you saw this on YouTube, thank you. We are now at 180,000 followers on YouTube. That's up 40,000 followers since the beginning of this war.
Wow.
Please subscribe on YouTube. If you are a subscriber on Black Man Spy, on Substack. Come over to YouTube, just click subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. We're just trying to pump the numbers up because the algorithms change. Same thing on Substack. If you think there are people out there, this is the number 10 ranked Substack for world news and world events. Bring people over to Substack. And if you can, become a paid subscriber, particularly for Wajeeh, because he needs to pay for his U.S. citizenship application, which I know personally costs a boatload of money. $3,000 for the government, $3,000 for the lawyer. So help a brother out. I mean, come on.
Thanks.
If he's not a U.S. citizen, well, even if you are a U.S. citizen, every day can be a bad day in Minneapolis. But it's a great place to be. Well, you still got ice up there. All right, guys, thank you for coming. Sorry about the interruption, but this half of the show was super awesome, and I'm glad you all learned something. The question thread is still active. I am answering questions on that. I started at 6 a.m. this morning,
Ooh,
so please be patient.
I
Yes, sir.
am. I did have my friend start working his contact to get you on the Breakfast Club.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good. All right.
He,
Somebody
he,
says that they
he
absolutely should.
thinks you should be on there, so
Okay,
we'll see
cool.
what we can do.
Yeah, we'll talk to Charlemagne the God. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you. Be safe and nice. Bye bye.